Chapter 14. Whoops, we did not do a prayer last time.
No, we didn't.
So...
Yes, let's start with a prayer. We were in too much of a rush. Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee very much that we're able to be together. We thank Thee for this chance to read Thy Word. We thank Thee for this beautiful day and this beautiful area. We ask that please be with us and help us to move forward and finish our preparations. Please help us to know what to do and where to look forward. And please help us to be able to share with those around us the good things that Thou wouldst have us to know. We say these things and do so humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Israelites are the children of the Lord, Jehovah. Chapter 14. Unclean beasts, fish, and fowl are not to be eaten. The Israelites are to tithe all the increase of their seed annually. Not their children.
Wrong kind of seed. This is crop seed. Ye are the children of the Lord your God. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
What? This has to do...
Between the eyes, on the forehead, cut, body sanctified, not...
So the practices of Baal, I know, were things where they would cut themselves, but I've not heard about the between your eyes. Maybe that was clean off.
Well, on the forehead.
Right. So maybe they would shave their eyebrows if someone died,
maybe do a carving of something on their forehead.
I think it has to do with the hair, but yeah, it all has to do with your hair being sacred, and you should not shave your head, but you should keep yourself clean and.
We just saw our cat come from up.
Yes, he loves hiding under the couches. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, and above all the nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat. And
we just tried lamb, and it was weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah, we need to cook the rest of it.
Maybe this time put it with something and not eat it straight.
I'll have to... Well, whatever. Anyhow.
We'll figure it out.
Yep. The heart and the roebuck. What is the roebuck? Not Sears and Roebuck, you know.
What?
Oh, good heavens, you don't even know that. Sears was called Sears and Roebuck for all of my youth.
Oh, the store.
Yeah. But it's a gazelle.
Huh.
Yeah. And the fallow deer and the wild goat and the...
Pygarg?
Pygarg? That's an interesting one. And the wild ox and the chamois.
I thought you were going to say chemois.
Well, there's a particular type of leather or something that's used by auto detailers, or at least it was before some of the more recent inventions. And it's just a really, really soft, absorbent cloth. And I don't know if it's leather or not, but it's just a piece of cloth. But here it's saying there's a chamois, or whatever it's pronounced like. I think I want to look those up, because I don't eat a piece of cloth. There has to be an animal behind this.
So the chamois was the name of the cloth over cars.
For drying off cars in a certain way.
Got it.
Okay, what's B-Y-G-R-G, isn't it?
C-H-A-M-O-I-S.
No, the first one. Pygarg, not okay. Pygarg.
My bad.
Pygarg.
You laughed after you said chamois, so...
Huh. Bald eagle.
Really? It's
no way.
Eagle?
Wow. That's a big bird.
Wow. What? So...
A pygarg.
Is a type of eagle.
Yeah. It's probably all of the eagles, but dang. That's a big bird.
I want to see.
Haliaetus is the scientific word, but pygarg...
That's a bald eagle.
Right. This is... What language is this in? French. P-Y-G-R... Yeah. Pygargue is French for bald eagle.
Then if you search up
Probably
the
means
translation
something
for
else.
the
Yeah.
So basically, bald eagles exist in the old world.
Pygarg.
That's what I did.
Yes, but you also
Pygarg.
don't just hit search or in the Bible. Because sometimes
Bible. Okay.
it's not the same.
Bible Times. Pygarg is an animal mentioned in the Bible as one of the animals permitted for food. The Septuagint translate the Hebrew yakmer as pygargos. Okay, so what is it?
It's a kind.
It's
it's a sort of deer
antler
goat thing.
Yeah.
One of those antler twisty things.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That makes a little more sense.
That makes a
than
lot
eagle.
more
It's like an
sense.
antelope.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Especially considering this is all about four-legged animals rather than birds.
Yeah, and birds typically weren't considered terribly clean. Okay, let's look up chamois. Animal
It's also a type of deer.
is a goat-like mammal native to the mountainous regions of Europe and the Caucasus, Caucasian.
Its face is cute.
Yeah, that is a cute shot of that right there. I don't know if I'm getting that.
You're gonna need to post some images of this.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. But that is a cute picture right there. Huh?
Are you looking at me?
Okay, chamois or alpine chamois is a species of goat antelope native to the mountains in southern Europe, from the Pyrenees, the Alps, and all the other stuff to the Caucasus, mountains of Turkey. So it's easy to say that it could have been further into the Middle East where they were, because they were in the Southern Europe region.
Let's continue.
Yes, okay. Now that I have satisfied my what the heck is that, let's move on.
And every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat.
Has a divided hoof with two toes, like goats and
Cows.
and nevertheless, ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel and the hare and the coney. For they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. Okay, what the heck is a coney?
I swear I've heard of that before.
Coney. Ney in Bible. Animal. Refers to the hyrax, a small rock-dwelling animal, but not the rabbit. Conies. Kosher. They're not kosher. Because although they chew the cud, and it loaded the page, so chew the cud to get nourishment out of their diet of rough grass and leaves. They don't have a separated hoof. But once I learned that the coney recycles its food by re-ingesting its own partially digested waste, it sounded like a good idea to not eat them.
Ew.
Well, that's what the cud is. They put up a little bit from their stomach and chew it a little bit more. But even cows do that. So
Maybe it depends.
on what kind of things they deal with. Anyhow, coney, for they chew the cud and divide not the hoof. Therefore,
Well, it says that they do chew the cud, and that's what they do want them to do.
right, but they divide not the hoof. Okay,
And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. So
yeah,
the cud is a specific thing for them.
yeah. So either way, these ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall ye eat.
And whatsoever hath not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you. Of all the clean birds ye shall eat.
One thing.
Heck, next line. Eagle. Can't eat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were definitely wrong the first time.
thinking.
We did it. Sorry.
That's okay. Pigs. Shrimp. Several crabs, I think, maybe. But
Shellfish.
some shellfish, it depends. They are the cleaning crew of the ocean, and pigs obviously aren't in the ocean, but pigs will eat. I've even heard that pigs will sometimes eat their own poop and still be perfectly fine with it. So, yeah, pigs do not eat clean things, and so it is easy, very easy for them to become diseased and carry those diseases that you could ingest if you don't properly bleed them out and properly cook them. So that is why modern pig is okay to eat, and I love ham and bacon and all that, but...
Ham and mac and cheese is awesome.
Yes. But back then, they could carry diseases that they didn't always understand fully cooking and fully, making...
Sanitizing, but
right.
And they also didn't always have the way to treat it, so...
Right. Okay, 12. But these are they of which ye shall not eat, the eagle and the ossifrage, which is a vulture, understandable. It's another cleaner. And the osprey.
And the glade and the kite and the vulture after his kind and every raven after his kind. Does this mean they weren't allowed to eat mushrooms? Mushrooms are technically cleaners.
Dave,
I mean, to be fair, most of them are poisonous. Well, there's a good chance that a lot of them are poisonous, but...
I don't know how to answer that one at the moment. The glade is a buzzard, which, as far as I know, that's a vulture as well.
That's a type of vulture, yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. And then the vulture, or the falcon. A falcon.
Falcons are cool.
Yeah, they are, but not eating them. Okay. And every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, or seagull.
Okay.
Well, seagulls, understandable. Those are dirty, yucky things.
And they're jerks.
That too.
The amount of times I've seen videos of them stealing sandwiches out of people's hands and the like is hilarious, though.
Yeah. And the hawk after his kind. The little owl and the great owl and the swan.
Apparently in Fallout,
Wait a minute. Barn owl.
Huh.
What? Swan does not equate to barn owl to me. Where in the world are... Ew, these are
maybe
funky
both?
translations. I don't know. Anyhow.
But in Fallout, the seagull is still a jerk as ever because the ragulls, according to Piper, did steal a snap cake from her once.
Go for it.
Or was it Street Wool? Either way.
Anyhow.
And the pelican and the gear eagle and the cormorant.
Another vulture.
Isn't the cormorant like extinct or something?
I
know
sure.
the stork is endangered at least. And the heron after her kind, and the lapwing and the bat. Bat definitely makes sense.
Hoopoo bird.
What?
Lapwing is the Hoopoe bird. Hoopoo bird? Dang, I want to look these up.
It sounded like you were saying poo-poo bird. It really did to me.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. The Gear eagle.
And every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you, they shall not be eaten.
That's
but
wrong.
of all clean fowls ye may eat. So no flying bugs either.
Cormorants are a type of bird.
Oh, I think I've seen those before.
That looks a little like a loon.
Yeah, it does. They're pretty.
It is kind of pretty. Most hated bird in the world, the great cormorant.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Cormorants and shags. Oh, it's down here. Cormorants and shags are medium to large birds with body weight in the range of 3.5 to 5 kilograms. No, 0.35 to 5 kilograms. So under a pound to 11 pounds. And anytime you get over like 6 or 7 pounds, that's a pretty big bird. And a wingspan of, 2 feet to 3 feet. Almost 3.5 feet.
They could eat pigeons.
Probably. The majority of species have dark feathers. The bill is long, thin, and hooked. Cormorants nest in colonies. They're coastal rather than oceanic birds.
What I'm gathering with this is predators. You are not allowed to eat predator birds. Seagulls, even if it's not clear, do in fact eat fish and crab and other things. If the scene in Finding Nemo, mine. And those seagulls are nuts. But nonetheless, what
I
it's
have a
getting
fun play
at
on
is
that.
it doesn't want you to mess with predatory birds.
And things that could be last on the food chain. There was a supposition. I'm going to say a hypothesis that was based on what we know about the T-Rex at this point in time. It was an end of the line predator. It would be the last thing to eat, the big stuff at least.
Yeah.
And so it would have had mercury and other poisons, heavy metals and things in its meat. So if you were to kill one and to try to eat the meat, you might die from a heavy metal poisoning.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because whenever the more away from the base of the food chain you are,
Right.
the less nutrients you get and the more waste material you get.
Right. And so that seems to be what you're talking about. We're heading towards the outer edges, the end game animals that eat the final thing and become full of the heavy metals and other things that could be bad for people to eat because the heavy metals and stuff are in their flesh.
Are snakes safe to eat? I've heard
Yeah,
some.
actually, I've I don't remember that I ate it, but I've seen somebody. We had found a rattlesnake that was actually pretty good sized. I mean, it was 4 or 5 feet long, and we were able to kill it without hurting anybody. And somebody was like, "Hey, can I have it?" Huh? Yeah, I want to skin it and eat it. Really? Oh yeah, they taste like chicken.
I have heard that before. They taste like chicken and they can cook like chicken. One of the animes I occasionally watch, mostly just for the cooking scenes.
Yeah.
He takes a big black snake and makes some sort of chicken dish with it, but with snake meat instead.
Yeah, well,
It looks so good. Why does anime food look so good? I want it.
because they, just like many things, they draw it to look good. Anyhow, so are we on 17? No, we're on 18.
No.
19.
No. 21.
So you read all of that while I was looking things up. Okay.
Yes.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself, of course, because...
Crow food.
Well,
That's
if it's...
that's a statement from Warrior Cat, sorry.
Oh, car food. Gotcha.
Crow.
Crow. Oh.
Yeah, they in Warrior Cats they say we don't like eating crows because they taste bad and also they eat off the roads usually, so.
Yeah, but the other part of it is, unless you find it and know that it didn't die of a dread and deadly disease, if it's not less than 2 hours from its death, it is already maybe even 30 to 40 minutes, because I've heard that one, of it dying. It's already decaying to the point where you really don't want to be eating it. There's a place in Tennessee, I think, where they have created a decomposition farm. And they do this to help people know how things decompose. Yeah, it's not a place you ever want to visit unless you really need to know about CSI stuff. Yeah, just lots of dead, decaying things there. But the first day that they opened and started their whole thing, they brought out a body, put down a camera, and said, "Let's just wait." Within 30 minutes, give or take 5 minutes, I think it was, the first fly landed. And that's what they were looking for. So after 30 minutes, unless you can guarantee that there are no flies in the region, you've already got a maggot and you're starting the decaying process.
Wow. Okay, well, good for research purposes. I mean, science sometimes gets discovered through rather concerning means.
Rather gross and disgusting means. But obviously, within 15 minutes, you're starting to smell and the flies come. So, well, 20 minutes because it would probably take 5 minutes to travel. But whatever, details. Either way, if it's been 30 minutes since it died and you don't know how it died or why it died, don't eat it.
And please continue 21.
Okay. Dieth of itself. Wow, that was quite an offshoot. Thou shalt...
Good information at least.
Yeah. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger. Thou shalt not give Ooh, JST.
That makes a little more sense considering everything.
Thou shalt not give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, because, we don't want to poison them either, that he may eat it, or thou mayest not sell it again, unto an alien, or, visitor again. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Don't be a con man. Don't kill people for the sake of whatever. Yeah, don't make money off of people getting sick. Thou shalt not see the kid in its mother's milk. This is completely separate, but it apparently has to do with a particular...
Bacteria?
No. What they would do is they would boil the kid in the milk from the mother. And that had to do with a specific fertility god, I think. Something like that.
That sounds sad. That's just sad to think about.
Yeah, it is. But the one way or the other, it was something that was done for a specific type of worship. And
The thing about not selling contaminated food to a
someone that's
stranger
not in your,
or
right.
a group. It reminded me a little bit of something from Little House on the Prairie. I remember seeing this when I was a kid, but I didn't fully understand what was going on. Apparently, these people had grain that was grain contaminated in some manner.
They bought the grain for half price because it had rats and flies in it, and it was spreading bubonic plague.
Yeah, and they sold it to
They sold it to the people in Little House on the Prairie. I remember seeing that.
It was contaminated, and they still did it, and many people died because of that.
I don't remember the whole number, but at least a couple of people in the town, in that particular place, and then they started to go, wait a minute, when did this start? And everybody has this grain. What's going on?
They find the source and
they burn it down.
Yeah,
which was
sad,
but
I didn't fully understand what was going on. But looking back at that, I get it now.
Yeah. Don't sell bad stuff to people just because you can.
Especially if you know you're basically...
Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know you're contaminating someone, it is basically murder.
Yep. And that's what God is saying right here.
Yeah.
If you find something that's dead by itself, don't eat it. Don't sell it.
Don't give it away.
Right. Leave it to decay on its own or burn it.
Or bury it, depending on what you can do.
Right. I mean, burying a big animal, whew, that would be... Okay, dig the hole a little further over. Okay, everybody get out and just push a little bit. Thunk. Can you imagine?
That's not 6 feet under.
500 to 1,000 pounds for an average cow.
Not only that, but you'd also be touching the dead body,
which
is decaying and also already starting to have diseases.
Well, you could push it with a stick or something, but either way, I wouldn't want to mess with... Yeah.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, and that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. Okay, I don't understand that. Do we have... Yes, we do. I need to get my glasses.
I'll try it.
This is going to be way beyond where we are in this.
That's way too far.
Yeah, Deuteronomy
14.
That's 27, 9, 13.
And it is...
in between. 14. Okay, it's over here.
8,
Tithes,
11,
28.
12, 13. 14.
There's 22, 28. Is that 26?
20, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24. But if that place...
23.
Okay, my bad. Eat the tithe of your grain, new wine, and olive oil, and the firstborn of your herds and flocks in the presence of the Lord your God, at the place he will choose as a dwelling for his name, so that ye may learn to revere the Lord your God always. So sort of like a prayer to the Lord that this food is given to us by you and we revere you.
It's kind of like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it sure kind of sounds like it.
Yeah, but why would they pay their tithe and then go and eat it?
Or
Yeah, that's an interesting one. This may have to do with the Feast of the Tabernacles.
Yeah, that might be it.
That makes a little
All
more
the farmers
sense.
come together, provide food, and have a potluck.
For the lack of better of a word, that's probably what it is. Okay. 24, is that you and me?
We just did 24.
No, 23.
My bad. I'm sorry. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee,
then thou shalt turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and thou shalt go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
So if you can't do it, pay with your increase directly.
Right.
Give a portion of the money that you earn from that.
Right.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen or for sheep or for wine or for strong drink, and for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. This sounds a bit like the frugal activity where you set aside some money for yourself.
Yeah, it is. But also in this one, we have they travel to a place, and as part of their tithe, they buy food and drink, and even strong drinks, which is interesting for me because God condemns alcohol stuff. But anyhow, it all has to do with paying your tithe to the Lord every year. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. So you also give this to the Levite, and this is why it's confusing me. The Levite should be getting all of the tithes, but yet you're supposed to eat this, or have it for your own feast. It's an interesting one.
Potluck idea.
Yeah, I guess. Anyhow, go on.
28?
Yeah.
At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates.
And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. This is a very interesting set of laws. I'm not sure if I'm
mildly confused.
I'm not sure if I love the way that I'm reading this, or if I'm just confused. But it's a neat it's a neat set of laws and rules about having stuff set aside every year for tithes and offerings, as well as all of the unclean things, that the clean and unclean animals that they should be using. I wonder if anybody had unclean animals of any kind for usage in any way. So this is a neat chapter all about the things you should and shouldn't do, and maintaining your personal and your family health for forever. So
Indeed.
this is pretty cool. I liked this one. This was a lot of neat information.
Indeed. Well,
so we will go on to other things tomorrow, and we will see you then.
bye.
Bye-bye.